Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome to Monster Energy Supercross 5, the official video game, where we're going to start off with a career mode video here today and kind of just see what new features are available in the career mode. I know a lot of people are probably going to want to hear kind of like my thoughts and opinions about the gameplay and stuff like that, which I'll talk a little bit about in this video, but also look forward a little bit later in this week for more of like a real review of the game, because I got some problems, right? I got some things I want to talk about with this game. And I'm getting a little frustrated, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Just kind of want to see what's going on in the career mode because I haven't even looked at this before. We had an early copy of the game to play for the tournament that we did about a month ago, but I never really went down and looked at the career mode aspect or anything like that. So as you can see, obviously there's Futures Rookie and Pro, which is the same thing that was available in Supercross 4. We'll look at the Futures Academy. If we go back here, we'll look at this Futures Academy for another video, but in just career mode, there's obviously a Futures 3-race journal and Futures Academy thing to do. So we're just going to jump in and see what this is all about. Looks like we start off with a KX250. We're in some shot race gear. We've got some interesting numbers on the side plate and on the back of our jersey, so that's interesting. Daniel Blair hyping us up. Cool, the DB's in this game too. All right, so welcome to the career homepages where you can decide what to do between one weekend to the next. Every week you will have to prove your abilities in a race, take to the track, and do the best you can to get credits and prestige. The Futures Academy, you will learn the fundamentals of Supercross through both theory and practice, from basic bike controls to performing scrubs and whips, recommended for beginners. Okay, then we got a skill tree. We'll let you unlock special abilities by spending your ability points. Some of these abilities can be unlocked by continuing with your adventure within a career. The journal contains your entire adventure in Supercross 5. Log in to learn which challenges you already completed and how many others await you. Yeah, so honestly, this all looks very similar to 4. This skills tree maybe looks a little bit more dynamic. There seems like there's a little bit more to it, but not anything crazy. We got a rivalry, we got a journal, championship rankings, career option. I want to see what this is. So we got joint brakes, manual rider main transmission, aid and jumping. All this stuff is off. Rewind is on, but you know, I'll just turn it off. Who cares? I don't really like going back and rewinding races anyway. So we're in the Futures chapter right now, which means we got to go through our Futures Academy a little bit, I believe. Well, let's see. Let's go through the Futures Academy. So this is where we're going to do all of our like tutorials and stuff like that. I guess we'll start off with a tutorial race, and maybe this will just kind of tell us like what the Academy is really going to be about. To me, it seems like a lot of this is going to have to do with doing like these like small challenges, which I think could kind of be unique, but they really need to expand upon this concept if that's what's going to happen. Like, it can't just be, you know, a 2-lap challenge and like beat these AI. Like, it's got to be past these guys or do this or whatever. Okay, so it's teaching us about rewind, perfect start, clutch, keep the clutch pressed, shift the rider weight forward, like just, you know, a bunch of stuff that we already know. So we're shifting the rider weight forward, we're in first gear, and drop the clutch, get out of the gate. We're accelerating, which is obviously, you know, very intuitive. And this is a track that we already did for the tournament, so honestly, nothing too crazy. All right, so left trigger with left is to drift left, interesting, and then weight backwards, and then there's the flow aid, but that'll not be on when we're actually racing. I think this is just to try to show us how to go right now. Totally blew this rhythm section because I was in 4th gear entering. And the whoop section still can kind of do the whoop glitch thing, leaning back through there and staying on the rear tire. I was meant to scrub off that jump. My apologies to the game because I did not see that beforehand. Gosh, why am I riding like garbage right now? So this feels almost identical to the early access version of the game that we had, so it's nothing different or unique about it as far as I can tell. I played most of the tracks when we got the beta of the game, so I felt like I already really kind of seen a lot of what these tracks feel like, what they have to offer. And yeah, I mean, it really does feel a lot like Supercross 4. There's not a whole lot of difference with the gameplay or the physical engine aspect of it. It does seem that they're maybe a little bit improved with the like animations, I guess, but I always hate when they say, oh, you know, like, let's focus on these rider animations and make them look good. It's like, how about we just make the rider flow like natural, like almost have the ragdoll effect. Like if you go back and play MX vs. ATV Unleashed, the rider looked actually a lot more realistic in that game than it does in this one because it moved with the bike. Like in this game, the rider doesn't move with the bike because they're so focused on animations. But whatever, I digress. We'll talk about that in my video coming a little bit later this week. Okay, so I guess that's just like I did an introduction to the Futures Academy, and this career mode is different than that. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't have any credits available. So I guess the Futures Academy is just like it exists either outside or inside of the career mode, and it doesn't really make a difference whether you do it in career mode or outside of career mode, I guess. Whatever. We'll just go on with career mode then. So round 1 of 3 in the 250 career mode, and this is a little bit, I think, of a better option, I guess, this year for Futures Academy. Futures Academy last year, they just had you race the tracks, but this year they're doing it so they like created these little custom tracks that are really tamed down, and I think that's kind of cool just because like it makes it a little bit more, you know, something different that you start with. It's not like you're just going straight into the, okay, as autopilot boofing here. All right, we've got some autopilot boofage. It's slowly going down, but we might be stuck here for a minute, so let's just, I guess, fast forward through this. Okay, all right, that actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to take. So yeah, these tracks are toned down, which now doesn't really make any sense at all for Futures because obviously the new Futures in real life is they just race the actual track the same day as the pros, and you know the track's super gnarly and not tamed down whatsoever. So this is, you know, not really realistic anymore. But last year in 2000, well, they didn't do Futures in 2021, but in 2020, this is very, you know, at least somewhat accurate to what Futures was, which was they took the real tracks, they raced the very next day on them, but they were supremely tamed down. Like the jumps were tiny. They were doing like tabletops instead of triple jumps and stuff like that. It wasn't really toned down. Like there was still some Supercrossy aspects to it, but like the whoops hardly existed, and a bunch of other stuff like that. So it definitely, you know, I feel like it's trying to follow that mold a little bit with this, but I don't know. I feel like they're kind of like 2 years late to the punch with that because the Futures in real life is not like this anymore. So anyway, we'll do a couple quick laps on this track. Looks like there's just like a qualifying, and we're just trying to, you know, look good and get a good lap time. So I think that's decent enough lap time. Can we end session? Yes. All right. And we were 4th. It's like a couple of females up front. Cool to see. I was already ranked level 9 prestige from doing that tournament, so I know that's probably a little confusing that I have a decent amount of credits already and prestige up pretty high, but yeah, just already did a lot of gameplay on this, I guess. All right, so 250 Heat 1. Weird how many options of gate selections it gave me for not qualifying fastest. Also, like, why are some bikes, they don't even have number plates? Oh, I guess they do, but... And then the wall is pushing our camera into a very awkward angle here, but here we go, off the gate. And just absolutely roasted them off the gate. So, that's what happens when you start a race against a bunch of amateurs. And, yeah, what is that? Fulminating as an achievement? Never heard of that in my life. But we just unlocked that achievement because we got the whole shot in a Futures race. So I'm just out here crushing. I'm like Rider D, getting the whole shot and trying to check out. But some tells me these guys are going to be a little bit closer. I didn't have the ability to set the difficulty option before I started this academy, so I'm interested to see if this is like how they're going to be at the start, and then as we work up to rookie and then into pro, they'll get harder of a challenge as the AI. But just as a frame of reference, when I was playing this game a couple months ago when we had the beta of it, I had it on realistic difficulty, so it might have just defaulted back to that anyway. Like, these guys are, I feel like, pretty racy, and someone just picking up this game and trying to learn it for the first time might have a tough time against these guys, honestly. Like, they're not that far behind me, and I've got 4 or 5 hours into the game already. So if you're just playing a Supercross game for the very first time and you go to this Futures Academy, might be a little bit tough. One thing I wanted to try to work on a little bit is getting used to how the clutch feels, because allegedly it's a little bit better in this game. It doesn't bog you down as much, so like if you're coming through a corner and you're trying to spool up, Using the clutch now seems like a very viable option suddenly, which it definitely wasn't in the previous game. So that part of it's pretty cool, unique, whatever you want to call it. I like that. Dang, this is a long heat race. I guess we might be only doing one futures race today and then going on from there. Game feels pretty cool on these futures tracks, though. It feels, easy to play, pretty intuitive. These tracks are tiny, though. This would be a very, very bad track if it was a real Supercross track, because they're basically just going back and forth across what would be the sideways distance of a football field. That's why in real life you see, like 6 lanes go the distance of a football field usually, because, you want longer lanes and long rhythm sections and stuff like that. This just feels like it's really tight and compact because of, going back and forth between, basically from sideline to sideline of a football field instead of end zone to end zone, or, for people in Europe, from goal to goal. So, yeah, tight track, but kind of a cool, I guess just like unique track to try to learn the game on, to start off with, just going straight into career mode. Unless you, went to single player right away and tried something else out. This is definitely one of those, like, interesting track to start the game out on. So I kind of like that. I don't know. It just something different. Again, personally speaking, if I were to build this career mode from the ground up, just honestly start scrapping all of this, like, like you just go straight into racing and racing and racing and racing and racing. Like, yes, it is a Supercross racing game. However, the real, like, story mode of real life Supercross and motocross is not just like, I'm born and I am 16 years old and this is my career that I have chosen. Even if they want to say, like, oh, you start out as an adult, do like a cool, like, open world concept with the career mode. And, you start out by doing, like, little challenges, or even just, like, following a story mode. Maybe, like, legitimately there is, like, a, you're a 16-year-old, you've ridden a little bit, but you've never tried your hand at, like, high-level amateur racing. So you and your buddy decide, like, oh, you're going to start filming you guys doing some cool stuff. And then, that gets popular on the internet or something like that. I don't know, just, like, weird things like that to then make it be like, oh, this guy should go race Supercross, and then you get invited to try your hand at the futures racing or whatever, like, it doesn't even have to be that realistic, just something that is kind of appealing for a player base. Because honestly, just playing this right now, I'm a fan of Supercross, I'm a fan of motocross and all that. If you're not, though, this is kind of a lot right from the get-go. This is a 5-minute race, and it just feels like you're doing monotonous laps. I mean, how many laps have we done already? Like 7, 8 laps on this track. And there's not really any direction as to, like, what does this mean? Like, if I win this race, am I going to be moved up to the next level? Am I going to just race another race again? And, this is only a heat race even. So this isn't even that long, or this is pretty long for a heat race, I should say. How long is the main event? Like, is the main event going to be super long? I just feel like this is all a bit, maybe a tad much to really pull a user of this game in. A really good earmark for a lot of this stuff, and sometimes I feel like they're maybe a tad, I don't know the right word, but if you go watch, like, an IGN review of these games, or some gaming company that they're not even, like, into racing games, they just play video games and they happen to review this one, a lot of times what they'll say is, like, man, this is not a lot of content. There's not a lot of stuff. Like, there's not a lot of depth. Not a lot of depth to the story mode. There's not a lot of depth to customization and stuff like that. And it's honestly kind of painfully accurate, because if you go play some of these other games, like these AAA title games that they play, gosh, there's a lot more to do. A lot. So sometimes when I pick up these games and I play a career mode, and I'm like, man, there's just a lot missing. And I still feel that way just even looking at the, the open-ended side of this game. Like, there's just too much that they're kind of missing out on as opportunities to make these games really kind of fun to replay. Even if the physical aspect of the game isn't that fun for a lot of people, which, I totally get. Some people are really sick and tired of the physics of this game. They could, almost like patch it up a little bit by making a really, really cool career mode that's intuitive and continues to bring users back, because then they'll be, like, very interested in playing that career mode and, seeing how it progresses. for example, I always say this, but like go back and look at 2003. We're almost 2 decades on from this. But MTX Moto Tracks, gameplay-wise from 2003, it's rough, you know, it's not the best game ever. Even back then, I still felt like gameplay-wise, like MX Superfly probably played better back then. But MTX Moto Tracks was incredible because the career mode was incredible. It's by far the best career mode in a video game for dirt bikes I think we've ever had and probably still have ever had. And I just wish that they would take a page out of that book a little bit. Like that, even that one, yes, there was like a real story mode that felt like you're playing like a Tony Hawk game, but you don't even have to include dialogue in some of that stuff. Just these, you know, more challenges and other things like that to do would just be cool. Yes, there has to be the racing side of it. There was with MTX Moto Tracks, but then you did stuff on compounds and you did these quests and other things like that, you know, maybe weren't even like realistic at all to what you would see in real life, but gosh, it just made it so much, I don't know, more in depth, in my opinion. All right, so we're moving on to the main event now, and I'm hoping this main event isn't supremely long. Oh gosh, a 15-minute main event. Did I set this up wrong or something? I don't know. I feel like we don't need to have a 15-minute main event right off the get-go. Maybe I set it up to long race distances and I didn't even realize there's something like that. Got to go in and change my career settings. But we are not going to show you this entire main event of racing. So I'm going to do a couple laps of continued dialogue here, talk about a couple more things, and then I'm just going to go and finish this race. And then we'll come back to the main menu, see if I maybe hit an option that I shouldn't have or something like that, and we'll go from there. All right, over this finish line jump. Very easy track, like I said. Cool this year, too, that it seems like for the Futures Academy, they've got, you know, a lot of mixed bag names in there, too. They've done that before, but it just is always nice that they, like, actually create these characters that are not professional athletes, I guess. But since it is Futures, it would be a little bit cool if they included, like, you know, to some degree, like Ryder DiFrancesco or Chance Hymas or... You know, I'm sure people want to see Deegan in these games, but Deegan's not racing Futures yet, so he doesn't need to be. But, you know, just something like that in the future would be something to consider, something to think about. I'm sure that costs them extra money to get those riders' likenesses, but definitely would make it a little bit cooler if you're going to continue down this route with just Futures Rookie Pro, which I would not recommend, but hey, to each their own. All right, I'm actually getting a good little race going here so far with Maggie Thomas. I'll go ahead and maybe jump ahead in the video here and see whether or not we end up having a battle, or maybe I just, for 13 minutes, ride by myself and finish up this race. So, yeah, we'll be fast-forwarding right about now. All right, I'm going to swing back in here for the last minute and a half here of this race. I was able to pull out to about a 15-second gap here and there, and then it died back down, and then it picked back up, and honestly, man, I will tell you what, the lap traffic in this game is garbage. It sucks. It is, man, like for, I don't know, 5 to 6 straight laps, I had a group of like 3-lapped riders that were battling me as if I was racing them for the lead, and like as if I was, you know, if you put Justin Barcia, Jason Anderson, and Malcolm Stewart on the same stretch of the racetrack, that's what those 3 guys were doing to me. Like, they're punting me off the track and moving me around. But I just got sick of it. I started punting them and putting them off the racetrack, and I lost so much time. I almost lost the lead at one point. It's just garbage. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of that is, to have the riders that you're putting a lap down race you that hard in this game, and not have like some sort of blue flag to move them out of the way or whatever. That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, they were very ridiculous. And another thing too that I've already realized with this game, again, the AI, it does this weird thing where they just do stuff that's unrealistically fast in the corners, or like they'll jump in the air and get boosted forward. Like they won't, you know, hit a jump cleanly and downside a rhythm section because they carried enough speed. They'll hit a jump terribly and then boost forward in midair. And it's just like, why? Why give them that ability? Like, just let them actually have to try to follow normal lines of the racetrack and get momentum to jump up onto stuff. Like, right now it's looking like they're doing okay, but in that specific battle I was talking about, like, we'd come to like a dead stop in a corner, and I would come out and I wouldn't even be able to like double out of the corner because we were messing with each other so much, and they would like triple in through this section or something stupid. very, very weird. I don't understand the logic behind that at all. And I've been asked before, why don't we have adaptive AI in this game? And I mean, they can't even get this type of AI correct yet. So I think we're going to be a long ways away from adaptive AI. But I digress. One more lap here. We're just going to try to weave through these guys. I still got, I don't know, like a 10-second lead or something like that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at how hard they're racing me. All these guys are a lap down by a decent amount. And yeah, they're just not letting me come through very easily here, and then riding underneath me so that I get punted higher into the air and I lose a bunch of time. Like, that's just frustrating. It's not fun to have to deal with that as a racer. I don't know. Whatever. Got the futures win, and now I'm interested to check out whether or not this is, you know, like set on a difficulty that's very hard or something like that. All right, so anyway, just trying to see whether or not this difficulty is like ramped up for some reason. Just got a freaking ton of credits though, because I did 28 laps, 27 without rewind, even though I don't have rewind turned on, so I don't know how that wouldn't be the same number. But yeah, we just went from level 9 to level 15. Next unlockable is at level 25. But that's pretty cool. A couple females up there on the box with me. Nice. Crushing it. All right, let's see. I want to see if I could turn down or fix these settings or something so that we're not on career management. Let's see. Career option, race option. The real thing. So yeah, it was on the real thing. Race length, we'll do short. AI difficulty, medium. We'll just do one shot for now. Really quickly, I want to jump into customization if I can. I guess maybe I can't. Is there not a... there's not a customization part of this, interestingly enough. So I guess I have to go out to customize my rider. Anyway, but we have available skill points now to use, so we'll upgrade cornering. So we got to hold that. We'll upgrade bike control. We'll upgrade braking, scrubbing, and physical resistance. And then we'll go back over here and do that one and these two. So there we go. Upgraded our character a little bit. It doesn't really seem like there's any sort of like skill set bar to follow or anything like that. Yeah, all right, so we unlock some things in our career journal. I want to leave this career mode though just real quick because I want to see whether or not. So if we go to customize, I guess there's just a career preset somewhere. I have all that right there. Physical appearance. And this just must be preset 1. Yeah, okay, so edit. I want to try to change this around a little bit. Let's look at livery first because let's see what this is. All right. Okay, modify number. There we go. So front number, edit. You make it pretty big on the bikes, but you know, we'll just, I don't know, put it right there. And what are these side plate numbers, dude? What is this? Okay, fortunately it looks like it's fixable. So put it there. Right side number. We'll put it there. We'll just leave it stock for right now because I don't really want to mess with that much stuff here. Oh, that's bike preset. Or no, there is rider preset in here, right? Yeah, rider. Okay. Let's go to suit. Do know that there's not a ton of new options in here, but since I'm wearing a Fox helmet, I do want to check out the Fox gear. This stuff down here, I believe, is most of the new stuff. Like, that's new, new, same. So I think the only new stuff is really the Flex Air mirror, is what it's called. Any other stuff? Oh, this is new up here, too. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's new, too. I feel like the best looking stuff with this particular gear set, though, is this. And then go to boots. If I remember right, Fox doesn't have a ton of selections, but at least there's some. Like those blue ones are new. Those are kind of cool. We'll just rock the white boots. Already got Fox goggles. All right, so number, style, nickname, all this stuff. There are a lot of different number style options to choose from, but that is not that different from the previous game. Does seem like there's a pretty decent amount of movability with these, and it doesn't look like you're held back too much by limitations within the jersey. Like, there's certainly some areas where they just stop at, but definitely seems a little bit better than before. That number is hideous, though, in my opinion. Not sure why that's even an option. Fox usually has some pretty like clean looking stuff, so I feel like this is probably the most like Fox looking stuff. And then the ability to change the color of the numbers is very in depth this year. It's not just a one color. You can basically make your own color, which is I think pretty cool because you can match it to the gear a little bit better that way. We'll choose a different font for the name here. Why is it like not all uppercase? Pretty dumb. Don't remember not filling my name out in all uppercase, but this one is all uppercase, so we'll select that. And I'm just going to go with white for right now, but we could have done like a green, right? Because then it would maybe fit a little bit better to the gear. But overall, that looks cool. I don't want to get too much into customization. I'll do a different video on like all the customization aspects eventually, but just a nice little look there. And then we'll go back to our career mode. We'll finish off one more race here just to take a look at another track, and then we'll finish the futures segment in the next video and jump into rookie mode. But just trying to check out some of these futures options. Here's another one of the futures tracks. This one looks maybe a little bit bigger, a little more spread out, but again, still pretty easy looking jumps. Got a sand section, over under bridge, which, hey, one thing about the over under bridges this year, it finally feels like they are making the landings or the transitions better, which is something that has been rare. The transitions have sucked on these jumps for quite a long time. What the heck? So I do all that stuff with my curve player, and then I come back here, and it's still just this wonky setup. Do I have to, like, I don't know, select something, or I don't know. It seems like they've got something messed up here with career mode and the customization side of it. Okay. So the little gripe I have right there. Talk about it in my physics review, I guess. But yeah, coming into a banked corner, you would think that leaning over into the banked corner would allow you to like hook up and the rider would actually like lean into the corner. Nope, it just rides up the banking and then like actually stops leaning into the corner for some reason. So not sure why it does that. All right, so we're up in second. Got to get around Steven Christensen here. Look at how much more speed they can carry through the corners, though. Like, that part's a little bit annoying. So we'll not go out to the berm that lap because the berm does diddly squat. But we will send it off the tunnel jump this lap because we can. Let's land deep out into the sand here. Like, look at that. I'm full lock leaning with both sticks one direction in a bowl corner. And it's like, what are you talking about, dude? You're not leaning. Oh, silly dude trying to lean. All right, into the lead. Let's see if we can hold it. Jumping over that big double right there, carrying momentum across the start straight. And this is a lot better. This is like, if someone didn't realize where those settings were for the race distance and everything like that, and you just started off on ultra realistic race distances and stuff like that, it'd kind of suck, but I do feel that's probably an option I changed myself a while back. So most people are probably going to start off these career modes by themselves and be on super easy difficulty and, you know, one shot and all that stuff. So just my dumb self not changing the settings before I got started. I digress. These races are now only 5 minutes, it looks like, plus a lap. So that's a lot better. Need to learn to start shifting. Get a little first-person action in here. First-person camera, pretty similar to the previous first-person camera. Some people have told me that the only way to play these games properly anymore is to play them in first-person. I disagree, but to each their own. Like, honestly, after you've played MX Bikes in first-person, all these other games feel really bad in first-person. So, for those of you saying this game can only be played in first-person and any other way sucks, you've clearly never played MX Bikes before. Oh! Almost getting taken out by Christensen. So, hey, we got a little bit of a battle going on here. I'll give it credit, though. I mean, like, the first person does look a lot better in this game than it did a couple years ago. Like, I picked up Supercross 3 the other day and was doing a little bit of gameplay stuff on that. And, man, first person was rough. So, they've definitely improved it. Credit to them. All right, I hit my tear-off button, but we still have not ripped a tear-off. So, one of these days, we'll get a tear-off ripped. Block pass. Oh, a little cat and mouse into the corner. Another block pass, got him back. It's a good race, though. Oh. This jump out into the sand is ridiculously OP, but this time I'm going to land off the track. All right, getting a little tired of the first person. Like I said, it's just, for me, it's not the wave. It's such an arcade game that it feels like so unrealistic in first person. And I let the leader get away. By the way, those ruts don't do a dang thing, so it's really cool that they have aesthetic ruts in these corners, but they don't do anything. So for those of you out there that are like, oh my gosh, they finally included ruts? Nope, you go right through them. And here we are, 5 years into the Monster Energy Supercross soiree, and one of the biggest, most important parts about Supercross still not included in these games. So we'll get there someday. I'm trying to put my head down just a little bit, try to catch up to Christensen so I don't lose this race. Gonna have 2 to go because he's not gonna. Well, he's gonna clip the flag, I guess, before time expires. So we got 2 to go this time by. Brought that gap down a little bit this last lap, but not enough. Now time has expired, so now it'll say 2 laps to the end. Oh, that rut in the jump face right there just kicks you hard. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think we'll be able to get him here on this last lap if I just get these sections okay. Oh, and he didn't do the on-off this time. So, bam, there we go. And off this double, try to get to the inside. Push him out, push him out, push him out. Yeah, into the tough blocks. 30 racing, but whatever. I'm trying to win the race. He's going to try to fight back, though. He's going to use those unrealistic inside lines to get incredible drive through the whoops. All right, step on, step off. Got that. And just got to hold it one more turn. Hit this berm, and we're good. All right, got the dub. 2 for 2 in futures on realistic difficulty. One of them was a 15-minute race. One of them was like a 5-minute race, but we're good. Crushed it. Got it done. Still not really not sure or confused by the customization side of things, but maybe once we get through the futures side of it and we get to rookie, we'll be able to, I don't know, join teams or whatever, and it'll be a little bit more better and not just, yeah, whatever this is. Got our journal real quick, and yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing as before. So nothing really crazy there. We still got stuff that got to get through. Chapter, we're still in futures, races 2 of 3. Championship rankings, I mean, we got it pretty well locked up, 10-point lead already. And we have more skills to unlock, right? Yeah, we got 1 more skill point, so got that. And that's it. That's going to be the end of this video. Info, yep. Nothing crazy. All right, that's going to be the end of this video. We'll be back a little bit more this week with a couple more career mode videos talking about some of the options in this game. Obviously, the full game drops on March 17th, but for some pre-early access people that got it today, let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you guys think of this video, what you think about the gameplay so far, and anything else I'm happy to discuss in the comment section below. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to another video here on Start Your Systems, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.